Hi, today I'm going to talk about the Interior Alaska Medical Clinic business continuity plan that I developed. And the talking points for today are the overview of the business, the beginning of the business continuity planning process. I really feel like all of our assignments really kind of started a foundation for what I was gonna eventually think about and put in the plan. The slides go over the meat and potatoes of the plan. I have several screenshots on there and want to talk about what's involved with the plan. And then once the plan ends, what's next? You know, our last slideshow presentation from week 11's homework and reading talked about planning maintenance and sorry, my brain just froze. Plan maintenance and updating the BCP and why that's important. So I wanted to discuss the relevance to that with Interior Alaska Medical Clinic as well. So, talking point number one, I wanted to talk about the overview of their business. So if all of you have been following my discussion posts, I know somewhere I've put in there that IAMC is one of two civilian medical clinics in Delta Junction, and they service an area of approximately 1,500 people, and we are about 100 miles from the nearest hospital. So the other civilian clinic is about the same size, and they provide about the same services. IAMC has 19 total employees, and they only have 2 primary care providers, and they're both PAs, so they don't staff any doctors down here. However, they do consult with doctors, especially radiologists, because they do have the ability to x-ray down here, but they send x-rays out for radiology consult. Along with the primary care providers, they also have 4 full-time nurses. They have an office staff, and they have a pharmacy and also a lab. So, totaling 19 people. So, looking at slide number 5, it shows the front page of the business continuity plan, and then I also added the executive summary in there, and it just talks about, you know, that's where we included our mission statement, and just talked about how the plan is going to support the employees and also the clients, ensuring the continuation of the business, recognizing that it's very important to the community, and that this business continuity plan covers as many what-if scenarios and how to recover from them. Slide number 6 is the table of contents and the introduction. And in the introduction, it's kind of giving an overview for the employees to read as to why this plan is important. Slide number 7, I have a couple of tables here to look at, and this is not the entire business continuity plan, it's like 20 pages long, but I just wanted to show some highlights for this presentation that talked about some of the, I think, the more crucial points of the plan. Like, for example, the risk assessment. When we first did our business impact analysis, this part of it wasn't I didn't go through it quite as in depth, because the person that I interviewed for this entire project, because I don't work there, so the friend that I interviewed for this project, he was able to go over with me some of the things that I added in here, and also using this risk assessment, we were able to create like an emergency contact list, which they don't currently have right now, but they're looking forward to getting this for me and maybe using parts of it. So anyways, back to what I was saying, slide number 7, that the highest risks that we see for their business would be a fire, because like either a forest fire being nearby, since IMAC is in the middle of nowhere, or more likely scenario would be because we're using a heat source 8 months out of the year, fire starting for that reason. Also, great possibility it would be an active shooter. That's entirely likely. We have earthquakes in the interior, also likely. Power outage happens all the time, and I was pretty surprised to find out that they are well prepared for it. They just don't have it in a plan format. So he wasn't sure when I talked to him how informed any the other employees would be. So just going through this and saying, okay, you guys need to designate like building managers that like a primary and an alternate, that if the power goes out or if the heat goes out, that they're notified, so that way they can notify emergency like after hours businesses, which that's in the vendor section, and that way they can get their heat back and not have permanent damage that would cost the business a lot of money, because they might have to close or go to an alternate location and so forth. Then in the next slide, in slide number 8, this has outlined the emergency memorandum of understanding between both of the civilian clinics, and it's just an agreement stating that in the event of an emergency, the parties agree to support each other where possible, and that they will reimburse each other costs, and it just outlines who's responsible for what, and it's kind of an alternative to an alternate location, because talking to John, my contact with IAMC, they don't have the resources right now to have some sort of alternate location set up where they could run a medical clinic out of. So having an agreement with the family medical clinic seemed like an appropriate, it seemed like an appropriate thing for them to come up with. Also on this slide is their exercise and training schedule. It talks about the type of training that they're going to have and the training topics. So for most of them, like evacuating from a building fire or how to respond to an active shooter, that would be like an annual slideshow presentation or possibly a drill. Then we have other things in there like tabletop discussions for, say, mass casualty or a disease pandemic, or how they would handle like the increased volume of patients and so forth, and or something similar to like building damage or services outage, or just needing to evacuate and move to an alternate location, having a drill for that. And slide number 9, I was referencing earlier the vendor list and also the emergency contacts for the utilities. That's in their plan towards the end, and it's here on slide number 9. It just gives a list of who they're going to call if they should be having issues. Also on this slide is if they did have to transfer to an alternate location, to their alternate location, the checklist that they would use. I hadn't seen this on some of the business continuity plans that I went over, and I found it on I think it was a pharmacy business continuity plan, and I was like, this is great. This is exactly, so I just tailored it to the clinic itself, and here's this awesome checklist that they can go through when, you know, when the need arises, if they decide they're gonna move to their alternate location. On the final slide, it shows the emergency employee call list. They don't have one of these formally in place. Most everybody has each other's phone numbers, but having an official call list, and then also saying, hey, the department heads are gonna they're gonna call the people in their department and let them know what's going on should there be some sort of incident, and just having this in writing, and then also saying, hey, we're going to review this once or twice a year. I think I have it down right now as semi-annual. That way they're keeping their information up to date. So where's this plan going after its first year? Plan maintenance is super important. It's what comes next, and you know, we have in the plan that it needs to be and it needs to be signed and updated, that the plan is being reviewed every 6 months, and that's so important because people's contact numbers change, data systems change, programs, vendors, they all change, and it's important to keep the business continuity plan updated so that way it can actually be used. So I'm looking forward to all the feedback from this presentation. Thank you very much.